How much money do you need for retirement and what bucket should that money go into? For example, you want some safe money so that no matter what the market's doing, you don't have to worry. You have enough money set aside. You also want to make sure that you have enough growing to outpace inflation. Today, I'm going to whip out the iPad that I've got right here, and I'm going to show you exactly how I help clients think about their retirement bucket strategy. Once again, my name is Taublieb. I am a financial planner, and I'm also the Vice President of Root Financial Partners. I help people retire early, at least help people know when are they in a position where work is now optional. At the end of the day, if you love what you do, great, keep doing it. If you want to optimize your money, great. I want you to get the most life out of your dollars. So the last thing I'll say to this, then we'll hop right into the video, is if you're looking for a custom strategy, that's what I help people to do. If you're just looking for more information, trying to see this bucket strategy, which I'm going to show you in just a moment, please do subscribe and share this with someone who you think would benefit from it. So let's hop right in. You're going to see me looking down here because I'm going to be on my iPad. Okay, so you can see this is the bucket strategy. At the end of the day, what we want is secure income. We want to know, how do we make sure we don't outlive our money? Well, here's how we do it. Is we go, great, what are our expenses and how much time do we have? So I'm standing up writing this, so excuse me if it seems a little shaky at all, but expenses are here on the left, time is down here. So what we want to know is our expenses are going to grow over time. The reason for that is, you've probably guessed it, inflation. This is some preschool handwriting right now, but inflation. I'll try to make it a little more organized for you. Now let's pretend that you want to retire at, I don't know, let's say 62. So you want to retire at 62, prices are going to go up, but the reality is, what if there's a pension? What if there's Social Security? What if there's different sources that are going to come in at different times? So the key here is, we're going to be 62, then we're going to be 65, then we're going to be 67, then we're going to be 70, then we're going to be 73. So let's just look at all and how does this bucket strategy work? How do we make sure we have enough set in different buckets to be able to last throughout our whole life? That's what you want to know. So what we do is we go through the following. At 62, okay, great, we're living on our portfolio, but let's say at 65, all of a sudden a pension begins. So now we have the pension helping, which is helpful, but that's not it, because the pension's helpful, but then we also have Social Security that's helping. So you can see that the pension, I'll write this in here now, so pension, and then I'll just say Social Security, that all of a sudden there's years, and I'll change the colors here just to make it easier for you. Let's say that we need to live off of our blue portfolio for these years, from 62 all the way to 65. But then at 65, we still need to live off of the portfolio, but we have a pension helping. So this dark blue here means less is coming from the portfolio. And then above and beyond that, now we have Social Security that's coming in at 67, saying full retirement age. Now this is what we need to come from our portfolio to meet our living expenses. And then let's just say, and I'm going with a lot of assumptions here, as you can imagine, but let's say now that there's no other income sources. So no other income sources, but then all of a sudden, oh, what is that? Let me shoot that off. No other income sources, but then it jumps up there. And you might be wondering, all right, what does that jump up? Well, that's RMD. So I didn't draw it well, because the reality is there's not that jump right there, but this is the jump right there. And the RMDs, assuming it's 73, this 73 could be 74 for you. RMD law with Secure Act 2.0 has pushed this back. If you haven't seen that video, make sure to check that out. But the reason I bring this up at all is this is what we need to make sure we're tracking for our retirement, because this is what is going to be there. On the same hand, or should I say on the other hand, to be most accurate, what we want to do, and what you might be wondering is, great, how do I bucket my money for these different time periods? Where do I pull from? Well, the reality is, if we have to pull from certain accounts from 62 to 65, and that's all from the portfolio, if you remember, portfolio, can't spell today, let's just put portfolio in there. I'm a human, I'm a financial advisor, I'm not a robot, but let's say that we have a portfolio and we need to pull from that solely. Well, if that's all we're pulling from, how should we do that? Where should we pull from? This is when we want to keep income very low. Now, some people will see that and go, Ari, income low, that's great, right? Because I'm going to pay low taxes. That's correct. Maybe you're even paying no taxes. I mean, how amazing does that sound? Am I not the best advisor ever? The reality is you could pay no taxes from 62 to 65 if you're pulling from a brokerage account, if you're pulling from a Roth IRA, to keep income very low, but I don't recommend doing that. Why? Think about vegetables. Now this is gonna look like it's supposed to be a cauliflower. Is that the worst cauliflower you've ever seen? I'm not a good drawer. I'm not even an artist. You probably, it looks like actually it looks like a foam finger hand. So don't like that. But let's just write it out. Let's say cauliflower, okay? Would you rather, I know you're like, what does cauliflower have to do with my retirement? What other advisor have you seen try to relate cauliflower to Roth IRAs, okay? I try to keep it fun for you guys. So cauliflower, why am I bringing that up? I'm bringing that up because cauliflower is like a vegetable. Not like a vegetable, it is a vegetable. Would you rather eat a little bit of cauliflower, just a little bit today, which is like paying taxes at 12%, maybe 15%, maybe it's 22%. But would you rather eat a little bit of cauliflower or have to eat, I don't know, what's a bad vegetable? You really don't. Brussels sprouts. I actually like Brussels sprouts, but let's just say some basic Brussels sprouts. I don't love this, but here are a few Brussels sprouts, probably the worst Brussels sprouts in the history of time. But Brussels sprouts are your RMDs, scary Brussels sprouts. So now, all of a sudden, these are gonna happen at age 73 or 74 or 75, and I don't want you to have to pay taxes. I'm making it red because taxes are scary taxes, where you're going to have to pay taxes at 24% or 30% or even 35% combined, fed, state, local. So I want to avoid the 35% taxes. How do we do that? We voluntarily eat a little bit of vegetables today as opposed to having to eat a ton of Brussels sprouts in the future. Brussels sprouts are like RMDs, and we don't want to eat these when we're full. RMD, you're gonna have to be paying 35% and put 35% on a $2 million portfolio. Well, you can already see, I don't want you having to pay that amount of money. So how do we avoid that? We avoid that by keeping taxes low. Let's go all the way back to what it is this crazy Ari guy's talking about. Here's what I'm talking about. These are the years right here where we want income low. Then, age 65, let's say we have a pension that's coming in. Great, so now we have the pension helping, but the pension is going to drive income what? It's going to drive our income up. So now, maybe we're not able to do as many, all of these things I'm talking about right here, Roth conversions. A Roth conversion is when you move money from an IRA to a Roth IRA so that you never pay taxes, no taxes again. Now, when you never pay taxes ever again, it's because you're moving this money. At the end of the day, you don't want to move money if you're in a high tax bracket today. That's when we don't want to do Roth conversions. But if we come back up to this, what we want to look at is age 62 to 65. It's now getting a little complicated here, which is not the purpose. It's always about keeping this very simple. So I'm going to draw it out again, just to simplify this further. We're going great. Here's our expenses going up over time. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but 62 and 65, and this is, of course, how old we are. And so at the end of the day, what we want to do is there's going to be certain times where you're going to fill up brackets. And the whole point of this is to go, while we're in these lower brackets, while we have this ability, we want to make sure that we're filling up. You can see the space right here. The red here, this is what is going to be coming from the non-portfolio income sources, meaning everything above the red. So the green is coming from your portfolio. Over time, you can see that we have less ability to do tax planning. The biggest tax planning windows are in, let's make it pink, are right here. Income is very low. Income is very low. Lower, historically. Income's high. We don't want to do tax planning. So the whole point of these different examples of vegetables and graphs is, I'm going to stop the iPad for a second. I want to tell you guys, when we're building this bucket strategy out, when you're thinking about income, Social Security is going to start at 67. That's going to put you into a certain bracket. That's going to impact tax planning. Can you do Roth conversions still? Yes, of course you can. There's not a limit on it. Maybe you want to fill up a certain bracket, but we don't want to go far too much. Now, if you know you're going to be in the 30-40% taxes, would you not want to guarantee paying taxes at a smaller amount today? Well, you certainly would. And the reason for that is I want you to replace the word Roth with the word insurance in your head, okay? Roth is after-tax money. That's insurance against taxes ever going up ever again. So you never have to pay taxes on it, and that compounds. Now let's pretend everything I just showed you on that iPad is happening in a market downturn. So the market's gone back. Now everything is converting. Everything's growing tax-free forever after the market downturn, which means it's amplifying your conversion. So going back to this iPad, what I thought was so helpful, the reason I wanted to show it is you're going to retire at a time different than your neighbor, different than your coworker, and you want to understand how does this connect to your overall strategy. The way it connects is you have sources that are going to come in at different times. Maybe it's all at one time, maybe it's going to stagger, but what you want to do is while your income is low, is you want to make sure that you're implementing tax planning strategically. And then in terms of your asset breakdown, when you're still working, you have the ability to be more aggressive in the short term because you don't need money to pull from. But as we go out and as we go out and as we go out, and now we're living longer and longer, we need to make sure we have assets to pull from to never run the risk of running out of money. So how do we, at a minimum, not ask what's your age, what's your risk tolerance, and stop there. It's no, let's really define how much longer do you need to keep working. Once we know that, we can go, great. How much do we need safe on the side, money we never have to worry about ever again? So this is the bucket strategy that I help clients work through. I promise I do it in a little bit of a prettier way, but I wanted to show you on this through just a quick vegetable example that came to my head. Yes, you've paid taxes a long time. I get it. I've paid taxes, you've paid. If you could keep taxes very low, I'm all for it, but don't just say, can I pay no taxes today? Because in the future, we're gonna hit big with taxes, especially if your RMDs are excessively large, $2, $3, $4, $5 million. If we could keep those lower by just being strategic, I would rather you see that and save more on taxes, which is literally millions of dollars over the course of your lifetime. So I hope that was helpful when it comes to tax planning and buckets and thinking about when you should convert assets, when you shouldn't convert assets. When income is high, we don't want to do that. So hope that was helpful. Hope it resonated. If you're looking for a custom tax planning strategy, reach out to me or another one of our members at our team. We'd be happy to walk you through that. And lastly, please subscribe to be notified of all future videos. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you don't know, I am the host of the Early Retirement Podcast, and this is what I love doing. I help people create a custom strategy to retire early. You can always reach out to me or a member of our team here at Root, and we would be happy to walk you through our planning process to show you how we can help you get more life out of your money.